Hi everyone, I've got a really busy time coming up, so I am doing some batch cooking today for the freezer. I've given myself an afternoon to do this and I want to get as many meals done as I can. I'm cooking 2 roast chickens, 2 pork and beef lasagnas, chicken cannelloni, a pasta bake, hunter's chicken, and a batch of flapjacks. So first the roast chickens, so they're done really simply, just prepared with oil, salt and pepper. My plan is to carve the chickens and freeze the meat, and I can just use this gradually for things like sandwiches, pasta bakes and curries.
So I'm just chopping some onions, but I'm using my food processor, which I never ever use. And when I did my last declutter, I thought I'll give it 6 months and see if I use it. But actually I think I don't use it very much. I don't use it day to day. But on a job like this, when I want a ton of veggies done quickly, I think this is the kind of task when I use it. So I'm going to give it a bit of a reprieve. I'm also, just to save time, using a bowl just to put all my scraps in so that I can just take it straight out into the compost when I'm done.
For the lasagnas, I'm starting to cook the minced pork and beef in a pan, and I'm cooking some vegetables in a separate saucepan. I always like to add lots of vegetables to my lasagnas and puree it to hide the veg in the tomato sauce. I've put half of the onions and garlic in with the veg and half in a separate bowl to use to make the cannelloni. In the freezer I found lots of frozen vegetables to add to the pan, so I've put some peppers, courgettes, mushrooms and some pieces of sliced apple in there as well. In the meantime, I'm just prepping the cannelloni mix. I've added the chicken mince to a pan and started to simmer it whilst keeping an eye on the vegetables. I decided to blend down the cooked vegetables in the food processor before adding it to the cooked mince. I also added 2 jars of lasagna tomato sauce, salt and pepper, herbs, garlic granules, Worcestershire sauce and a beef stock pot, and just let it all simmer. In the meantime, I made a simple cheese sauce from a roux, although I did add some extra cream just to make it really nice and thick and creamy. Next I put together the 2 lasagnas at the same time with the meat, pasta and cheese sauce layers. I hate grating cheese, so I grated a load of cheese in the food processor, which was brilliant, and topped them both with grated cheese, and I covered the lasagnas in foil. I decided to cook both of the lasagnas on this day and then freeze them afterwards, but you could freeze them at this stage. For the cannelloni, I mixed the chicken mince with a couple of handfuls of frozen spinach and 2 pots of ricotta cheese. I used a piping bag and filled the cannelloni tubes. I added a pot of passata, basil and topped with cheese. I am planning to freeze the cannelloni at this stage, and yes, it is perfectly okay to freeze dried pasta. It turns out perfectly well, and I wish I'd known about this before, because I had always thought I had to cook it first, but that isn't the case. As I had plenty of the cannelloni mix left over, I also made a pasta bake with some dried macaroni, the chicken mix, and a jar of tomato pasta sauce, and then another jar full of water to mix it together. I will freeze it like this so it's ready to go when I have a busy day at work. Just cook it for 25 minutes, stir it, add cheese, and cook it for another 25 minutes in the oven. I also prepared some hunter's chicken by wrapping chicken thighs with bacon, smothering it with barbecue sauce and grated cheese. I will cover this and freeze it at this stage so it's ready to be cooked when I need it. Lastly, I made a batch of flapjacks. This recipe is so simple, with 6 ounces of butter, 4 ounces of brown sugar, 90 millilitres of golden syrup and 12 ounces of oats. I just cook them in the oven for 22 minutes until they're golden brown. So in just under 4 hours I managed to cook everything that I planned, and I've got lots of meals prepared for the busy couple of weeks I've got ahead. I hope it inspires you to do the same. You don't need all day to do batch cooking, even if you just do 1 or 2 more meals, so that you're saving yourself time and also saving electricity by maximising the oven. If you're not a subscriber, then it would be lovely if you'd subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.